in spreadsheets, there's a number of ways that we will reference cells. So I'm going to show you some of them now. So I've got here a spreadsheet, and you can see I've got my columns here, A, B, C, D, and so on. And then down here I've got my rows, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So say I wanted to reference this cell here. This cell is D2. We use the letter for the column first and then the number for the row. And say I wanted to reference it in this cell here, in F2. I wanted to reference whatever is in cell D2. Now to do that, I can write this equals. We always start with an equals if we're going to do something like a formula or a function or something like that. And I can simply write the cell name that I want to reference in there and press enter, and you'll see that that will copy exactly what's in there. Now, why do we do this? Well, let's just say in here I just did this and just wrote 56. I can see that's 56, and I hard coded my number here to be 56. Now that is referencing, that is the same number in there, but look what happens. If this value here, for example, changes, then you see that this number automatically updates and this will automatically update. Whereas in this one here, if this number changes, this number here will update, but this one won't do. So that's what we call where we would hard code a cell, a formula or function, or we're doing something like that, and it's not particularly useful. So I'm going to show you that again. To reference this one, now I'm looking for this one here, D3. I'm going to do it in F3, so I'll type equals D3, press enter, and it will reference whatever value is in this cell here. So that's the first way of doing that. I'm just going to show you a very quick shortcut. I've done a couple here, and I could keep writing them like this, equals D3, oops, sorry, D4 that should be. This is a really good point that I've just, a mistake I've made by mistake. I'm in Google Sheets, and I wrote D3, and you'll see that it's highlighted in orange, the cell that I'm referencing. It was a mistake, I didn't mean to do that. So when I press enter, you'll see that it's 56, but that's not 56, so that's wrong. So it's good if you, when you're in there, it will show you the right cell that you are referencing, like that. Now let me show you a little shortcut. If I've clicked on this cell here, you'll see I've got like a blue circle in the bottom right hand corner. If I clicked and dragged that all the way down, it's going to copy the same formula, the same function, whatever it is that I've got in here, all the way down to the bottom. So it's a bit like an autocomplete, an autofill. It's going to do it all for me. So that's the first way. The second way that we want to reference cells. Say I wanted to do a sum of all of these values here. I wanted to add up all of these values. So I wanted everything in this column from B2 all the way down to B16. Now I've got a sum here, and inside my brackets I'm going to write my first cell reference, so B2, and you'll see that it is highlighted in orange. Now I want everything from B2 all the way down to B16, so I'm going to use the colon, and I'm going to write B16 and press enter. So you'll see now this these cell references everything between B2 and B16, and it is inclusive. So let me show you another one here. This time I'm going to do C2 colon C16, and again you'll see that that will reference everything. That will reference everything in these cells. Now I'm just going to show you very quickly this one, D2 colon D. Now you'll notice that I've not written the number, I've just written D. If you do that, it's going to reference everything in that column. So if I scroll down, it will keep doing everything in that D column. Now that might be useful sometimes, but actually this isn't going to work. Because I get a reference error, because what I'm doing is I'm doing a sum of all these cells in this column, but included in that is my sum of the sums, which is going to just create this kind of infinite adding the sum onto the sum onto the sum, which is not going to work. So it is important that you put the end cell reference there. Okay. So again, if if I wanted to do this in here, it was B2 colon B16. Now, like I did with the blue circle before I dragged it down, you can also drag them to the right or to the left, and it will copy the same formula or function into there. So let me show you the next method that we're going to do now. I've added in some types for these items here that I have bought, and over here I want to do a sum of all of the food types, for example. Okay, so now inside my brackets, so I want this total here, this number here, if we've got food here. So this, for example, is going to be E2. I also want E3, E4. Oh, sorry, I want E2, E3. I want E5, and I want E10. Now, to do these cells that are kind of separated, I use a comma. So I'm going to do E2, comma, E3, comma, E5, comma, and E10. Now, what I really like about Google Sheets is you'll see that it's automatically created these kind of coloured numbers, these coloured cell references here, and you'll see that it's highlighted the cells for me, just so you can do that visual check of what it is that you are doing. Okay, so again, for drinks, I could do in here, so the drinks, I want the total, this one is E4, comma, E6, and that's it, just those two. Now for clothing, I'm looking for E7, E8, E11, E13, and E14, okay, and so on and so on and so on like that. Okay, so that's quite a nice way of referencing cells if they're separated, if they're not next to each other, so you can get all of the data in there together. Now the final way that I'm going to show you how to reference cells is how we would reference a cell on a different sheet. So you'll see that down here I've got my 4 sheets that we've been working through. This was the first one, the second one, the third one, and now the fourth one. And to reference a cell in another sheet, I'm going to start with equals. Actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my mouse for this. So I'm looking for the sum of the food, which was on sheet 3. So when I click onto sheet 3, you'll still see that I've got the formula or function that I'm working on here that is in sheet 4. So I want to reference this cell here in H5. So if I just click on it, you'll see that it adds inside the single quotation mark there the name of this sheet, which is sheet 3, and then we've got an exclamation mark and then the cell that is being referenced. So I just press enter, and you'll see that this will reference that cell. Let me show you that again. So I'm going to start with equals. I'm just going to click onto the other sheet and click into this cell here, which is now sheet 3, I5. I'm going to press enter, and you'll see that it references that cell in there. With the blue circle, it will copy that over. I didn't do the entertainment one, which is why that hasn't worked there. But that's a few ways that we can reference cells. We started by just simply writing an equals and the cell reference and the cell that we want to reference. We then had a look at the colon, where we've got cells that are between these two things. Oh, I've just noticed a mistake there. That should have been B16. It's good to always check these things. And then we did the commas, where we've got cells separated away from each other. We denote that with the commas. And then finally, we had referencing on different sheets, where we've got the name of the sheet inside the single quote inverted comma there, and then exclamation mark and the cell reference.